January-March 1916. Planning a joint offensive war room meetings. Generals studying maps, early trench footage. As 1916 began, World War I had entered its second deadly year. The Allies, particularly Britain and France, planned a massive joint offensive against Germany along the River Somme in northern France. The goal? Break the stalemate of trench warfare, relieve pressure on French forces at Verdun, and deal a decisive blow to the German army. Preparations began. Troops gathered, artillery was stockpiled, and trenches were extended. But no one was prepared for the scale of horror that would follow. April-June 1916. Preparing for the offensive. Long artillery lines, British and French troops training, aerial maps of trench networks. In the spring, the Allies intensified preparations. Over 1.5 million shells were amassed for a week-long artillery bombardment intended to destroy German defences. This would become the largest British-led offensive of the war so far, and the first time the British Army would field large numbers of volunteer troops, many of them inexperienced. Meanwhile, the Germans were focused on their own major campaign at Verdun, unaware of what was building along the Somme. July 1st, 1916. The first day of the Somme. Soldiers going over the top. Smoke from shells. Devastated no man's land. On July 1st, after a week of artillery bombardment, the Allies launched their attack. But the bombardment had failed. German barbed wire remained, and their bunkers were largely intact. When British troops went over the top, they were met with machine gun fire and devastating losses. It was the bloodiest day in British military history. Over 57,000 British casualties, 19,000 dead, in a single day. Despite the losses, the offensive continued. July-September 1916. The battle grinds on trenches, tanks rolling out, muddy fields, exhausted soldiers. For months, fighting continued in horrific conditions. The battlefield turned into a sea of mud, corpses, and shattered trees. New weapons were introduced. The tank made its debut in September. Mechanical beasts designed to cross trenches and barbed wire. Aircraft were used more than ever before, for bombing, reconnaissance, and dogfights. Despite occasional gains, progress was painfully slow. Every inch was paid for in blood. October-November 1916. Final assaults and withdrawal rain falling over trenches, weary troops. Winter setting in. As autumn turned to winter, fighting continued in the mud and rain. The Allies made small territorial gains, but at an immense human cost. By November, the offensive was finally called off. The result? Over 1 million casualties. Minimal territorial gain, just a few miles. A battle that came to symbolize the futility and brutality of trench warfare. Historical significance. War memorials, trench maps, photos of young soldiers. The Battle of the Somme was one of the deadliest battles in human history. It marked a turning point in modern warfare. The first use of tanks in combat mass use of air power. A growing realization of the true cost of industrialized war. The battle shattered illusions of quick victory and exposed the deadly consequences of poor military strategy. For Britain, the Somme marked the emergence of a citizen army and a national trauma that would shape generations. Key figures involved: archival portraits with nameplates and short bios. General Sir Douglas Haig, British commander who led the Somme offensive Foch. French commander coordinating joint operations, Erich von Falkenhayn. German chief of the General Staff during the battle. British PALS battalions. Groups of friends and workers who enlisted together. Many of whom died side by side. Like, share and subscribe. For more epic moments that changed history. Told year by year. Comment below. Do you think the Somme was a necessary sacrifice? or a military blunder? We'd love to hear your thoughts.